people with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let the record reflect Mr. Binge is absent this evening. All other council members are present. And we'll begin with approval of prior meeting minutes from our November 14th meeting.
Motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll go on to our reports. Starting with Cody.
All right, underwater, the plant has treated 52,720 gallons since November 11th. Our average daily usage has been 39,480. The filters were backwashed on November 17th, 22nd, and 28th. We had our sanitary water inspection from IDEM, and we're gonna have to pass an ordinance for backflow and cross connections. And I sent it to Alex. I got a sample ordinance from the state that pretty much outlines everything that we need to basically pass an ordinance. They won't accept us using state statute or the 10 state standards. We've always used 10 state standards in the past. They are no longer accepted. And we can reference this cross connection policy in that ordinance, but basically banning any cross connections from the system. You cannot have a well. If you have a well and city water, they cannot be interconnected with each other. If you can run your house off a well, which we have an issue with someone here, your water meter's coming out until you prove that you're not connected to our system anymore. It's state law. I mean, we don't even have a choice, and they're making us pass it in form of a local ordinance. And I talked to Alex about it already. I'd sent him that cross-connection backflow management plan, and he was gonna develop an ordinance to also cite the state statute in it as well in our local ordinance. So hopefully, he was gonna try to have it for this meeting, but hopefully we'll have it by the next meeting. We got 30 days to respond to all this stuff in the letter. My goal is to have everything done. So my response to them is, all the corrections have been made before I have to give them that 30-day response, which we just got the letter last week, so we've got time. And then also I'm working on an emergency management plan for the water department. They will no longer accept the county plan. It has to be specific to our water utility. So I'm about halfway through that. So I'll get it together. And that doesn't have to be passed in an ordinance, but I get it finished and I'll print copies off. The state has a template. I'm just going through it and filling out all the pertinent information, but
If it makes it any easier, you can do it, accept it by resolution or something, if that makes it.
we just gotta have it. We just gotta have it. Gotta have it in the binder. So that when something bad happens, I won't touch the book, I'll just go deal with it. But those are the two things and a couple other little things, but I'm gonna have, those are our two major things. I gotta change a piece of conduit on the wellhead, but just little things with that. Ordinance about backflow and cross connection and developing an emergency management plan were the two big ones for that. And then under wastewater, been performing daily checks at the lift station and the sewer plant. The lift station's put 589,709 gallons since our last meeting. And our daily average is 42,122, so we're within like 2,600 gallons now.
You bad considering rain, so.
No. Yeah, we got an inch of rain here over the weekend, so doing pretty well. Collecting sewer samples weekly. Sewer plant is closed and we're not discharging, and we had our sewer inspection from IDEM with no issues other than the one bypass we had last February, so they gave us an unsatisfactory. And then SRF sent an email out today about the inspection report to Josh and I, and he called me and he said, "Do I need anything from you?" I said, "Well, we'll send it to you because you're going to do it." And he said, "Well, I'm sorry you feel that way." And I said, "Well, it's in your contract." I said, "It says it." I said, "I'm going to discuss it at the board meeting tonight." So he called me back in about 20 minutes and said to send me the paperwork because they're gonna do the report. So, but in that email, they're processing these pay apps, but they told them that they won't process our final pay claims until this is done.
That's right, said that?
Yeah, it's in that email. Let me find it, I'll read it to you. I can forward it to all you guys. Tracy Irwin. So it says, hello Josh, Andy, I'm following up on the request of email. To this date, we've not received the request for reports. We are currently reviewing final pay apps, Division 2 and Division 3, and really shouldn't sign off on them or send them for payment until we receive the required documents. However, I will sign off on these, but I will not be able to sign off on any future final pay requests for the other divisions until I receive the requested reports along with all of the final documents that are required for at final payment. Should you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me. Tracy Irwin.
So you had communicated to her some of the answers to those questions?
No, I had just talked to her about it. And, you know, Lou sat here at the last meeting and said they were gonna look into it or handle it or whatever he said, and they've done nothing. So she sent it out today, and like I said, Josh called me, says I was gonna reach out to him tomorrow.
I was under the impression that the communication that you had with her had satisfied it.
No, they want an actual put together documented report, not just a little.
Not answering those questions.
No.
They weren't for.
No, that's everything that has to be in the report.
Got it.
Yeah, she had sent a sample report from, I don't even know where, some other town
Okay.
that showed how it was all laid out. What irritates me, they do this.
I know.
They've already got it laid out on the computer.
They've got it for them.
Yeah, there is. It's all like in this document. So I told him, I'm gonna get him sent over, I'm gonna send him, I don't know, a dozen photographs and some stuff, about that, but they're gonna do it. And then, ART arrived today and they started lining manholes, so, I don't know, we're probably about 3 weeks out, they'll be done. We're pretty close. We're still waiting, you know, I don't know how this is gonna work out, you know, it'll be paid for out of our money, but I don't know how it's gonna work out at the hardware that could get like really delayed here, cause we're waiting on the gas company to move the gas main, they put a work order in on it. Engineer's been out twice, but Bill's gotta start a job in Lindsay.
They can't give you any idea when they're gonna.
I told the guy, he was out here, he said, when do you need, he goes, when are you gonna start fixing this? I said, tomorrow. I was like, immediately. I said, we need it moved, you know, as quick as we can. We've already mapped out the route they're gonna run it in, they're gonna back it, it's only 2 feet deep, so
Yeah.
we're just gonna back a trench and backfill it. And some sand and stone in it, but that could, I don't know, I mean, at this point, it's not gonna affect us being able to close our grant out and handle all that, but it could be, I mean, Bill's gonna have some retainage, that's gonna be the other part of the problem. But it may, I don't know, could be this winter, it could be in the spring, I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
But all the other stuff should be done here pretty quickly.
So what's his drop dead this year? Does he have a day when he's not gonna be available anymore?
No, he says he's getting pipe and manholes delivered next week in Muncie. I mean, they're not far away, but he said he's trying to hold off from moving it because he needs the trench box that's over here and the payloader that's here. But he said he's just trying to leave until the last minute because he hates to leave with them and then have to bring them back. But they came over here today to get he's trying to leave a dump truck here, but he said he needs it over there. There were 3 here. There was 1, now there's none. So we're just waiting on the gas company at that point. And then our streets, I've salted the streets twice. And then with winter approaching, I'd like to address the parking on Main Street, the mobile home park on Monroe, and the subdivision. Buying and salting. And I'll tell you, the other one I had to salt out on the west side of Hopkins Drive. I mean, I say barely, like this far on each side of the dump truck got between them vehicles. You know, you gotta get fire trucks and ambulances down these roads too, especially out there at the subdivision. Somebody's house is burning down. I mean, you know, and all these places, the only place it's not posted anywhere is down at the mobile home park on Monroe. But all these people are getting into this thing where they think it's angle parking or, you know, and you got trucks, especially those people in the end, you know, two
Yeah.
trucks hanging out in the street, a trailer, they park a motorcycle out there. You can't even plow the whole street.
Can our ordinance enforcement officer write tickets out there?
He can tow them too if they don't comply.
I'd tell.
Well,
Yeah.
start with tickets.
Is he not gonna make it a meeting tonight?
No, he got called into work, so he left this handwritten report, which, not ideal, but
Is he gonna attend any meetings? We voted that he would attend one meeting a month, and he's been here since September and haven't seen him, and, you know, this is a good example as to why we need him here, so, you know, we have issues or complaints from residents, you know, he can hear it from us as to what needs to be addressed and different things.
Under building, I've had issued one building permit, I've had one building inspection, 3 zoning inquiries, 1 building permit inquiry, and then a November census report is done, and then, which I guess will bring me to you guys. You know, we were talking about doing an ordinance about our permits, permit fines, and I don't know if you can say something, Alex, find out where we're at on our building permit ordinance.
I don't think we've made progress on that one
Okay.
yet, or it's not moving, but we will
Okay.
put that on our list, and hopefully have something for.
you know about like fees for non-compliance.
That's what we're, you know, we wanna do, set something up where we got fee for, you know, our fee for non-compliance, but also something in the ordinance about us filing on the property, you know, for
Which ordinance is that? be on?
unpaid fees. Building permit, under building permits. Then kinda stepping back to that asset management plan for lease, I'll have to ask him about this. You guys already approved having him do this. But in conjunction with the asset management plans, the GIS plan that I talked to you about, which Josh Hawley's here from Zitility to kind of give you guys an overview of what their GIS system is.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks.
it's-
Yeah, don't shoot me because my name's Josh as well. Sounds like that's the problem, This is just our quote. Let me tell you guys a little bit about us. We are an Indiana-based company that was started in 2016. Started for water and wastewater teams specifically. It started out as just a basic GIS program. They go out and map your stuff so that you know what it is and where it's at. From there, we've expanded into really what we consider to be asset management for water and wastewater. So now that you know what you have and where it's at, you can start logging maintenance tasks against it. So hey, this hydrant, we're gonna flush it once a year. Let's create a routine so that the system automatically reminds us, gotta go flush this hydrant. And then you have the whole log of everything that you've done to it. We've added in, I hear you guys talking about the asset management plan. We've added in fields so that you can put the condition assessments in there, so you can create a criticality rating that you can put into your capital improvement plan. So you have that list of all of the assets that might need to be replaced sometime soon. We've also created an inventory module. So when Andy's managing his parts, now the supply chain is such a mess right now. He knows what's been ordered from who, about how much it's going to cost. As he's out there in the field working on a water leak or whatever, if he uses parts, he can delete the parts right from the app on the phone, and it will auto calculate how much he has left, give him reminders when levels are low for him to place orders. So it's really an all-in-one toolkit that was built specifically for water and wastewater teams. There's different ways that customers start this program. Andy mentioned today, and we hear this from a lot of our smaller customers, you know, I don't know that I have time to go out and map everything myself. There's lots of different options you can have. You can have us come in and do the mapping for you. I live down in Brown County. Jesse is in Zionsville, so he's probably our closest guy. But still, it was only an hour and a half drive from me up here. So probably one of us would come up here. I think I added that as an option in the quotes. Your engineers, a lot of engineers will also come do GPSing for you. The Alliance, Vineyard Rural Water, will come do some GPSing for you. They probably won't do your whole system for free, but they'll come and do quite a bit of it for you if you want them to. We can also take your paper maps, your as-built maps, and digitize those and put those into the system. That was another option I put on there. Otherwise, it's mostly crews going out, and when they have time, they go out and they mark the things down on the map. And once you get done, you'll have a full system, everything on it, and you'll have the ability to kind of monitor all of your different assets. So this, I think you mentioned Hopkins Drive earlier, so I found a couple hydrants on the map. So it's pretty good imagery. So
Can you lay over, so you said you can digitize your as-built and put them in there, could you, so you can have a layer and lay over all water mains?
it doesn't lay it over unless you have GPS coordinates with it,
Okay,
which you probably don't. Most as-bills don't have that.
but we could
So what it is you would have the map, and it would show, okay, this water main runs 5 feet from the center of the road, or 5 feet off of the road. So you find that on the map. We have a measuring tool, measure 5 feet, place the line. What we usually advocate for is to go out and mark your valves and your hydrants first, so that you can mostly connect the dots. Same with on the wastewater side, go mark those manholes.
but if you set those points, like catch basin structures, all that kind of stuff, then you can connect the dots with the piece of pipe on a map?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all done on there. You can, so we have 2 ways to input information onto the system. There's the desktop version, which is where you'll probably want to put most of your lines in, because it's just a lot easier to snap lines on a nice big computer monitor. That's also where a lot of folks will manage the work orders and stuff. If you wanted to on this, I don't know how you guys currently do your work orders, but you could have, if someone calls in and says, hey, I need my water shut off for whatever reason, or hey, it's disconnect day and these are the houses that need to be disconnected. You can actually go into the system, find those customers, put a work order in to do it. He gets a notification that says you got work to go do. He fills the form out as utility, and it's just logged there forever. So you can go back in and search customer records. You can go back in and search all the history at a meter, at an address. Then the second way is on the phone or tablet. You just go out there with the mobile app, and you can start plugging away all the things you see. Putting pictures in there, that's a big one. Snap pictures in with all the things that you're doing out there. He asked earlier what kind of hardware you might need, which would be a GPS receiver. A lot of times folks in Indiana, because our imagery is so good, don't necessarily need one, because you can zoom in and see the manholes, you can zoom in and see the hydrants. You're not gonna be able to see meter pits, but you're gonna have a pretty good idea of where those are at. Probably not gonna be able to see valves. I saw one valve on the road. But again, if you, on that map, you can get within a foot or two, and that's pretty good. So then becomes, do you want to pay $5,000 or $10,000 for a GPS unit, or is a foot or two close enough when you have a picture and a description to go along with it? Most of our smaller towns find that that's just fine for them.
So this $3 per asset map, so that would be, I'm assuming, that's, per, like, we'll use fire hydrants, that's per
Yeah.
fire hydrant.
Right. So
Okay,
yeah.
So then what do you consider, so let's say we wanted to map our water system out.
Yep.
And so you'd set the fire hydrants, the valve boxes, et
Yeah,
cetera,
you-
and then
you would
connect those
probably-
dots. Is that something that we would do internally, or is that something that you guys?
You would-
You help us set the whole deal up? That's basically what I'm getting at.
If we come in and do the mapping for you, then we'll come in with a GPS device.
Yeah.
We'll be boots on the ground. Andy would tell us, okay, here's what's getting mapped. Hydrants, valves, meters. And he would probably give us an as-built map or some kind of inclination idea of where all this stuff is at. We would take off boots on the ground, probably me and my counterpart Adam will come up here. It'd probably take us, I'd imagine, 2 days. I don't know how many hydrants. I saw you guys have about 300-ish water connections.
330 and
So
52 hydrants. We've got it'd be about 500 points.
be about 500 points.
And that wouldn't count, I mean, if you did stormwater, that'd probably be about 570 points.
And honestly, I mean,
If you said 600, you'd be safe.
we're not going to tally up every single asset review. If we're sitting there and I can see a hydrant, I can see a valve, and I can see a meter all from right where I'm standing.
So,
You know, I'm not gonna count every single thing that I put in there.
What's the cost for you guys to come in and do that?
It's a $3,000 one-time fee that pays for
That would
our
put you
mileage
guys,
or whatever.
that put you guys on here, as you're saying, boots on the ground, and you would come out to do that
Yes,
for the 3,000 and then $3 per
that's right.
hydrant,
Yeah.
$3
plus
per.
$3 per,
Be about
Yes.
$4,800.
Yeah.
so I mean, even if it's $6,000, that's,
Yeah, you've got a $3,000, that's your annual fee for access to the system. The system's really flexible, so that $3,000, because of your guys' size, that's our floor. 3,000 is our minimum, so that's where you guys land. But that would be to access everything in the system for whatever you guys wanted to map to your heart's content. So whether that be water, wastewater, streets, park, if you guys want to put your benches, your playgrounds, wherever you wanted to put on.
Somebody didn't ask you, do you have a schedule in there, like, for hydrant flushing, for valve exercising? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I didn't, forgot to ask you before.
All that stuff, we could put in there for you.
Yeah.
That's all included. There's no other fees on top of that 3,000. He can call me every single day if he wants to.
so what's I'm assuming you can pull reports of certain assets.
Yeah,
What's that
yeah.
look like?
So right now, the reporting mechanism is we have one in the program. It's basically just a table, and he can filter out, hey, show me all the different work orders that I did this month, that I completed this month. Show me all the water leaks that we did this month. Show me all of the assets that are within 5 years of their useful life. Okay. Now, again, all that information has to be put in
Sure.
at some point in order to pull that information. But yeah, you can do that, and then you can also, you're always one step away from exporting out to Excel. So if you wanted to create a bunch of graphs or whatever you wanted to do.
So ideally, this would make managing all of our asset management plans that we have.
This actionizes your asset
This does
management.
that.
Yeah, cause you can do, or, I mean, you guys can do like, if we wanted to, I mean, you can do like maintenance schedule for vehicles and stuff. as
Oh,
well.
yeah, vehicles aren't doing one.
Yeah,
So-
or equipment, or,
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, I ran a utility for about 8 years down in Grant County before I joined this company, and so all the stuff that you're talking about, I was kind of getting excited over here, man, I missed some of that stuff. But, yeah, what we've basically done is we'd be able to take the asset management plan that you get from John. Is John doing it?
yes.
Yeah, from John, and we would digitize it, because more than likely, he's just gonna hand you either a binder or a flash drive.
Yeah.
That's gonna have all the stuff on there, so we're gonna take that, we're gonna digitize it, and add it into all of your assets that you have mapped, that has all those condition ratings on it, that has the useful life on it, the original cost, replacement cost, we put all that in utility, so that then at any time,
Which we could also take our other asset management book we have for all of our equipment, buildings,
Yes.
water mains, and put that in there as well.
put it all in there, so it's all digitized, it's all searchable, it's all in one spot, and then you can report to your heart's content on whatever it is that you wanted to see. I think they're building right now a lot more asset management stuff, because we're starting to get into asset management plans ourselves. Because some folks now, see, you guys came in at the tail end, so when I did a big project at my utility, we didn't even have an asset management.
No, we didn't on our last one.
But now you have to have one done by the end of it.
Right.
Starting in April, you have to have one at the beginning of it. So what we're finding is a lot of utilities are like, well, let's just go ahead and do an asset management plan, but they can't afford $30,000 or $50,000 to pay their engineer out of pocket to do that. So we're able to come in and do ours a lot cheaper, because he probably knows the engineer's gonna be calling him to ask him all the information. So if he's already got his utility, he can just go in there and put the information in himself, and you don't need the engineer's, stamp of approval on those.
So you said their software is the whatever mobile version or whatever it is that a web-based deal or is that an app?
It's both. So there's an app for the mobile version, and then there's the web-based for the desktop.
Okay, the desktop is a web-based.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
You have to
there a
have some kind of connection.
Sure. Is there a maximum number of users?
You can,
You have to have a connection in the field.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now I'm Verizon, and I was rocking 5G up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
We're
that's
Um,
good. That's
We
good.
can, if you have Apple devices, we can go offline with those. So if you do run out of service or something crazy happens, you can go offline with Apple. The Androids, we can't get.
Right, okay.
What was the yearly fee?
3,000. And that includes your setup, your support. One other thing that makes us a little bit different is we've got two folks on staff that are industry guys, myself and my counterpart Adam worked for a utility contracting service down in Bloomington by Nathaniel. So we're constantly giving product feedback to the product team, but also on top of that, like Andy and I would have a once a quarter sit down and chat. Andy, what's going on with the utility right now? Doesn't even have to be involved with utility. Hey, what are you focusing on? Are you LCRR? Are you I&I? What do you think about this quarter? Is there anything we can do to help you? And then we monitor and track that for the next meeting. So, like I said, I have some guys that call me once or twice a week. They have an idea. Hey, do you think Ziptilli could do this? I don't know. Let's see if we can make it work. That's all included with the initial 3,000.
That annual $3,000 fee, does that increase if we start the bigger project, or the
No.
more we add to it, it doesn't increase annually?
No.
Okay.
No, once you're in, you're in.
Okay.
The system itself is completely customizable. We have templates that he would start with, like, here's a hydrant, here are the things that most of our customers care about a hydrant. He might say, I don't care about that, but I do care about something different. We can go in there and we can make the changes on the fly. Everything is in the cloud with an Amazon server, the same that Netflix and Uber uses. So super cryptic and no chance of any kind of interference or anything like that. That also means that everything is super quick. So if Andy goes out there into the field and marks a hydrant on his phone, that hydrant is immediately available for the office to see, and vice versa. Everything happens instantaneously without having to refresh or anything.
Let's say we're to do this in January, I'm assuming it's $3,000 to set it up plus whatever per asset. And then another 3 for the annual that.
If you choose
in
for us to
23,
come back.
So it'd be, okay. So in 23, the annual fee would have to be paid in addition to the setup is.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, the setup fee is going to pay for 2 of us to come up here and map everything out. So we're actually we're a nationwide. We've got customers in a lot of other states, but since we're based in Indiana, we started here. Most of our customer base is here. So Indiana's a little bit different. You'll get like a Ziptilli person to come up here and to do the mapping. In other states, we'll actually train somebody there. So they pay quite a bit more money to do the mapping. So we have to train them and certify them as a Ziptilli mapper before we let them go out and map stuff.
I don't have any other questions. Any of you have any other questions?
Thanks for coming, Josh.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
This, I'm very.
I like getting out of the house, guys. So it was nice for me.
This would be it. This or something like it, we definitely need it.
Yeah, with all of the stuff that you guys have been doing, digitizing is the way to go. And we work well with most engineers in the state. We work well with John, with Fleisch. We work with Derek at ART. So, you know, we've built a pretty good name for ourselves here in the state.
Yeah, definitely make our day easier, make any future projects easier, I think.
And reporting to you guys.
Like water meters too, like
Okay.
I know where they all are, he knows where they all are.
Yep.
But someday somebody ain't gonna know where they all are, it's
Exactly.
associated with the town.
Yeah, and
So,
who do you guys use for your billing software? Do you use Keystone? Keystone, so yeah, so one thing that we would do right out of the gate is put a dot on every house in your system. And we would pull that information out of Keystone. We just pull a report and we were able to geocode so that if you did want to do the work orders from the office, you've got a spot on the map already dedicated to those customers without anybody having to lift a finger.
Right.
So yeah.
be awesome.
That'd be good. Yeah, if you guys need any references, Cicero down the road uses us, Anderson, those are our bigger ones. But also, Eaton, isn't too far from you guys, Eaton, Andrews, Roanoke, up by Fort Wayne. So we range, Our smallest customer has 50 manholes. It's Bibbas Regional Sewer District up there. That's it. They don't even have a water utility. And then we've got, you know, Anderson and some other bigger companies, but we really like the 100 to 1,000 connections is like our sweet spot.
Perfect.
Yeah. And if you have any questions or if you guys come up with anything else,
All right,
just let me know.
great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, Jennifer, you got anything?
One thing on that, no, I just want to let you guys know, I'm also getting other pricing from, Silversmith.
That's what I was gonna say. is
No, they're coming.
You get to look at at least one of them.
No, Silversmith's coming, they're like the two that I've narrowed it down to. Theirs is a little different, setup, so they got like a $3,000 setup fee. I got your notes in my office, I should have brought it, but anyways, their Silversmith's annual fee is $1,600 a year. You pay a little bit more up, but in their system, on their total cost, you get a GIS unit. You know,
So then you
we
can
get
go
so think about this, because it would be more work on our end, but for what you're paying them to map, you get the unit to have forever.
Right.
And a tablet with it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I'm gonna
Okay.
compare the features, but, it is nice, cause I know what's gonna be coming, you know, they already asked about hydrant flushing, which I told them it's in my report, you know. But,
Exercising.
well, they say something about that already too, but I'll tell you what's gonna be coming, they're gonna wanna know how many times you flush, you know, do you grease the threads, do you grease the bonnet, do you oil the bonnet, do you this, that, the other, you know? That's all, it's all gonna be coming, and I mean, once you had something set up and you kept building on it, you'd be able to just print a report and it will show.
Yeah.
I mean, someday you could print 20 years worth of, you know, work.
That'd be great.
And either one of these, I think, is nice too, is like our sidewalk inventory thing can be put in it. Our other asset plan, you know, the big book that Jennifer's got, that's got, you know, the water tower, kind of every little thing the town has, equipment here, town hall, all that stuff, can all be put into it, one thing that anyone can access, so when, you know, she had an audit, we need this, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I think more and more, I think the day is gonna come, I mean, it may be 5 years or 10 years from now, you're gonna be required to have this if you're ever gonna get a dime from the state or the federal government, you know?
Yeah, I think it'd be an asset to us. Yeah, that's for sure.
So that's all I have.
Alright. Any question for Amy? Alright, Jennifer?
The only thing I have is, I did email State Board of Accounts, and with the donations that we have received, they want us to set up 2 separate accounts for those. As far as one for whatever we want to say, beautification or Main Street or whatever, and then the other one will be like a Christmas donation. They want them separated, so
Okay.
we'll have to do that by resolution. So I don't know if the attorneys want to work on something for that, or if they just want me to get.
I mean, it should just reference an account, right? Does it need to reference an account, or would it reference a fund?
A fund. We have to set up a new fund for them. 2 new funds. So I can go on the listserv and get other examples from other clerk treasurers if you want me to do that, or whatever you guys. But they.
You guys want to come up with something for that?
Sure, if you could email that to us,
Sure.
we'll take a look and get something going.
Okay. We met with Hamilton Heights, a middle school, the art teacher, on the 22nd. I don't know if your mom said anything about it or not, but she was really great. And we talked about the mural, talked about what she's going to do is come up and take pictures of the shelter house, and then she's going to give those to the children and then let them put their ideas on it. If any of us have any ideas what we want, you guys can email them to us, and then we've got like a email thing going on to where we can send it to her. But she's really, wanting to get this done depending on the weather. She's hoping to do it, in April of next year. So, we talked about pricing, and then Shannon was there too, and I know that they are willing to help out in any way. She talked about maybe just doing a $500 donation to the art club. But the town would buy supplies
Sure.
too. But like I said, I know that Shannon and Steve are really interested in helping out. So,
Okay.
yeah. So, let's see. And
You have a
then,
chunk in paint.
Yeah.
Because it really needs to be like industrial enamel. You know,
And
like-
eventually they
Like
wa-
Sherwin
The
Williams,
whole-
rust oleum, something.
Yeah, the building's gotta be painted with something good, and then whatever over it.
she said if it's not chipping, that we wouldn't have to paint the building before.
Yeah, but we could
So I
pressure,
don't know
we could
necessarily.
pressure wash it before.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't necessarily have to be painted under it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the enamel, I mean, if you use like an industrial enamel, it'll bond.
Yeah,
They showed us some artwork that the kids have already done,
yeah.
and it was really cool. You know what they had come up with. So they'll
Excited to see what they,
and they have some very talented kids in there, young kids. But they'll start on this side, and then eventually,
So do the two playground sides, or are you saying the entire building?
well, the playground side, I
The two
guess.
sides, two
And-
sides on the playground, east and north.
Well, they're just going to do the north, I think. They'll just start out with the north, and then she said we could eventually wrap it. She said, whatever. But I think, yeah. So,
I'm good with more, the more color the better.
yeah,
As far as I'm concerned.
right, yeah. So, everything's ready for the tree lighting. They was wanting to decorate tomorrow. I didn't know if you would.
I'm gonna try.
Okay. I know
It's gonna be
for the
a long day.
yeah. And I think that is, and then I did talk to John when he sent that email and sent that fleece agreement. He did call me. He said, I sent you a fleece agreement. He said, I won't be at the meeting tonight, but he said, if you need to call me, he said, I'm available. So I don't know if you want to call him this evening or if you,
I mean, the contract certainly needs some adjustments. It looks like there's a mistake on it.
Yeah, he's talking about, I was just going through here briefly, I'm sure I haven't seen all this stuff, but he sent an invoice and it's payable within 15 days, anything after 15 days is 7% interest. And we can't pay interest on anything in, 15 days, I mean, that wouldn't really barely cover our board meetings every 2 weeks, separation, and some weeks when we have further time spans between the board meetings, that wouldn't work for us. Like I say, there's several places in there that talks about having to pay the interest on it, so.
It says
that's
for the
one thing.
highest rate permitted by law, whichever is lower, ours is 0. So,
Yeah, and then in the dispute resolution part back there too, it's in Delaware County instead of Hamilton County, like
Well-
they pressed it on any of, the other contract.
I think our big issue with the other one was it was in Michigan,
Yeah,
and so I don't know if they can do it in the county, but it certainly needs to be in the state. But we don't.
yeah, I'd prefer it to be in Hamilton County, being that we're here, so.
Yeah.
And I don't look for any issues, but I mean, just in case, you never
No,
know.
that's right.
And so I'd like to table this and have the attorneys look it over and get their recommendation on some of the things here about interest and different things. And we're gonna really need to change that 15-day calendar payment turnaround.
Yeah.
It just won't work for us in
Let's,
certain times.
Someone want a motion to table this agreement for further review?
So here's our deal.
We'll try to have it ready.
We gotta have this signed before the next meeting. I mean, you guys already voted to do this, we're like up against it here, so can I just get him to correct this and have him sign it? I mean, he'll mail us
what do
change
we gotta
anything we want in there, he doesn't
Yeah.
care. Call him tomorrow, but it's like,
So
You guys
Like
clear
the
this?
water PER though, I mean,
I know.
it's not referencing this is
I
the
said- I know, but I'm saying,
agreement, it's
I'll
not basically for what we're
We
talking
vote-
about.
vote- We could make the motion to approve
I'm
Bruce
saying, I'll give it.
Vanderbrink, SRF Asset Management.
You guys already did that. You guys already voted to have him do it. But somehow the ball got dropped of the contract being signed,
Right,
and his boss won't let them start this until we're signed. So what I'm saying is,
So
can I
let's have
just,
him get it corrected.
can I get it corrected? And Murray can sign the thing sooner than later. I mean, that's another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Steve Brock's already working on his end of it, the financial end of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when we approved that. It's been a while.
It's been forever ago. I thought
Yeah,
I thought that
it's-
had already been sent over, and when I was asking him about it, he said we didn't have a contract, and I started talking to Jennifer. I mean, it's on Felice's fault,
Yeah.
but I thought it was already done.
yeah, it was way back when we were talking about not
Oh.
having, tried to do
Yeah.
it, and that's
Yeah.
when, you know, you sent them that,
Says that.
email or whatever, or contacted them and let them know
July
that
or
we were
August or
going with
something.
somebody else. It's
Yeah.
been that long ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Well, it says in here, that it's a lump sum contract in the amount of 24,000 to be billed on a monthly basis as works completed. As long as that stays in there and they make the changes that, needs to be changed, I don't have a problem with it, cause I mean, it's saying 24, we've already agreed to this
Yeah.
and we need to get it done, and part of this is, required by SRF. And we got
Yeah,
to
we-
do that in order to get the SRF funding.
And that's, you know, I mean, to let you know, they gave us a discount on it. That's 6,000 less than what was in Triad's
Yeah.
contract for. It was 30 in there. They're doing it for 24. Yeah. I mean, he's calling him. He's at home. I just figured they call him in the morning and just say, "Look, we need."
Yeah, just have him get it corrected.
I make a motion to have him get it corrected and let Murray sign it.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll have the corrected police Vanderbrink contract. Okay. Jennifer, you got anything else?
That is it.
And Jennifer, you provided me with this service agreement. Is this something that you'd like us to go ahead and
Well,
review?
normally they ask for yeah, and Scott's here tonight, so Scott, was wanting to talk to you guys about,
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that now.
yeah.
Sure. Okay, so there's actually two proposals in front of you. One of them is 2023 extension for what we've done for the past,
That's the technology services agreement.
managed service for what, like 13 years now, Jennifer? A couple changes. As with everything, I've unfortunately had to raise a couple prices. I hate doing that, but it was inevitable. So the prices are going up a tad bit, as well as some additional service going in. Takes basically the quarterly price. The last invoice I sent for Q3 of this year was, I think, around $240. So it's going up from 240 to 370. Which does, like I said, a small price increase and then some additional services. You guys have any questions on that one? And basically, this is all the basic computer stuff for the town. I charge for all the stuff here. I actually support Andy's stuff, take care of Andy's stuff when he needs problems, which is very rare, fortunately. But when he does, I just take care of it. We're gonna get this stuff backed up at no cost for some of those things, because it really doesn't take a whole lot of my time. So I don't really feel right, charging for that stuff when he takes care of it. Basically, mostly takes care of
It's his
it.
backup to the, there's a server here, right?
The backups for the entire town go to the cloud. They're all set.
Does he take care of our
So in the event,
website?
whatever
That's-
happens,
That was,
we've
Stu,
identified critical data. So for here, it's
Stu Clamp.
all the files
He
and
rebuilt
everything in Keystone. Should something happen here, we can restore all of that to a new computer, to a new location, to a place in the cloud, wherever it needs to be to let Jennifer and Andy do their jobs.
Any questions on this particular contract? I think we would probably, I'm assuming
It's for calendar year 2023.
You're okay if we revisit this at our next meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Attorneys review that.
Alright.
The second one is for managed email. This came about for a couple of reasons. When did you have the issue with not being able to use the one email account? Do you remember, Jennifer? Was it like about a month ago?
Yeah, about a month ago,
Okay.
probably.
So about a month ago, Jennifer had an issue with one of the email accounts to where basically the mailbox got full and she couldn't send email. I took care of it, but it brought up a couple of other issues. I had always, and this is probably a mistake on my part, but assumed that Endeavor was doing some type of archiving or journaling for the town. With that mailbox getting full, that pretty much means that's not happening. Extension of that means that you guys are probably not in compliance with the Indiana requirements for record keeping. Official email is public record, which means it has to be maintained with IRS schedule, which for email, most of it is 3 to 5 years. So what I would like to do, and this is not something that you guys have to make a decision on tonight, this is more of a, at least start thinking about it. If you guys don't do something about it, start thinking about it. Since we're probably not in compliance right now, we need to find an email solution that we can get everybody in the town to use, and that we can journal, so that we can be in compliance with state law. There's about 3 or 4 different ways I can do it. The way I put in here is using Microsoft 365, since we already use Microsoft Office here, which is part of Microsoft 365. It just kind of makes sense to go that route, but it's not the way we have to go. If we do that, it would include, or what I would suggest would be business basic licenses for all the town council, and I'm guessing probably the building inspector. I don't know. You do that too? Do you guys have like a hired inspector or something like, or maybe the code officer?
Yeah,
There is a
code
code
enforcement
Yeah.
officer would need to be
Okay,
added
so,
on there instead of
I
building.
did make a note, I put building inspector, but that should probably be code officer, in there. But anyways, there's 2 different licenses with 2 different prices. For you guys, it's basically based on need. Business basic gives you a mailbox, gives you some storage space on OneDrive, and gives you access to all the Microsoft applications, web-based.
So what does it take? So we've got AtlantaIndiana.com. What's it take to have AtlantaIndiana.com email addresses?
So what we actually want to do is atlanta.in.gov.
Got better, and that's probably
For
is there a way to
specific
make
reason.
better domain for our website.
Yeah, and we can have that forward to your website. It's atlanta.in.com. So if somebody hits the in.gov, where I host other things, I can just have them rewrite that and send them right off to .com. That's not a big deal. But if we do it, we do need to go with in.gov, because at a cybersecurity summit this summer, the state said that they expect state agencies and probably federal agencies to stop interacting with government units that aren't using sanctioned email addresses, which is something that ends in .gov.
Okay.
So nothing's happened yet, but they said they do expect state agencies within the next few months to stop. Like if Jennifer were to email into state board of accounts with a question or a concern or information they need, if it doesn't come from a sanctioned .gov email address that's properly authenticated, they're just gonna ignore it.
A lot of clerk treasurers have the IN.gov.
Right. I just did a town, we're just finishing up another town right now, doing them for that exact same reason.
So you can set that up as a part of this.
Yep.
You can make them whatever we want them to be.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's available.
And then, kind of the plus side of going with a Microsoft 365 solution is, I know the town pays for licensing for desktop office software. For Karen, do you have that as well? And like Word and stuff? Okay. That can be part of the license, so it makes those licenses a little bit less expensive for both services. And then on top of that, I mentioned the big important thing is that we journal this. Basically, that means every email that comes in or out of the town goes to another site, which I host, goes to another mailbox. and I'll keep those, for 5 years. And that way, if there's a FOIA request for a demand to present information, we have all that data there. In addition to that, I'll help everybody get set up. I'll take all the email that we do have, which, believe me, there's a lot, because Jennifer doesn't keep anything. I'll take everything we have and get that into the journal mailbox so that we have some, it's gonna be limited, but we have some ability to look back in time as to what it was, again, in case that request ever does come. I think that's,
So this is $720 to set up and then $250 a year,
$250 a quarter,
a quarter.
yes.
Okay.
Do you guys prefer to see that yearly pricing and done yearly?
Oh, your other one was, I just assumed.
No, it's quarterly.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, quarterly.
Guess I missed that.
Yeah, if you would prefer to see annualized pricing, that's not an issue. I can update both of these with, annualized.
That'd probably be better.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
And like I said, on the email one, like I say, I don't think we have to do anything right now. I think we need to figure out something in the near future. If we wanna go this way,
She's got a current problem.
Yeah.
I mean, now might be a good time to just go to our final solution, you know? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. You're gonna have to do it eventually.
Okay.
And you have a problem to solve right now.
Nice
Maybe
looking
this is
at
an
that.
opportunity to do that, but, I definitely, I mean, if this is the best option as far as you see it. Give us some time to review everything.
Sure.
I guess we'll revisit
I
it at the
will
next
note,
meeting.
I was trying to explain all this to my wife as I was going through these over the weekend. There are a couple of errors in this one. I will make sure that you guys get, this is the managed services, the annual. I'll make sure you guys get a corrected one. Basically, I forgot to put one thing in that I was going to discount anyways, because it's been kind of embarrassingly long to on the camera stuff for me. So, I'm gonna discount it for next year and give you basically half of the maintenance for free. And there was one price that was wrong. So actually, all it did was lower, I think it actually lowered the price by like $5. So it wasn't necessarily material, but there is a mistake in there. I will get you guys a correct one.
Any questions about these two things? All right, we'll review them. We'll have to review them.
Quick.
I think I need a copy of the email.
Yep, I'll get it to you. Matter of fact,
I'll just give him mine, cause I've got an email.
And if you guys do have any questions about any of it, feel free to email me. It's probably in here. If it's not, Jennifer has it, or give me a call. Either way.
so
Cameras?
question about the cameras, where are we looking on that? I know, I saw you did the ones over by the basketball court.
Yep, the street department are done. And first of all, I know you guys have been asking about it. I apologize, it didn't come together as I hoped. I had a block of time in late June or early July that I didn't have any scheduled because we had planned on taking vacation that we were not taking. So, I thought I could get, paperwork done, equipment on hand, and get the work done. That didn't happen. Sure. That didn't happen. So, where we stand today, like I said, park is done, street department's done. The next step is going to be the shelter house, which kind of brings into another consideration. I plan on having the shelter house network come back to here, but I also found out last week that you guys may be relocating town hall.
That is a possibility.
Okay. Is there a timeline when you might have something firm?
No idea. So if that was the case, I guess we'll pay you whatever it takes to
So actually,
get it back to.
well, yeah, what I'm thinking is it actually is a little bit tougher to get to the other place anyways. So I think what I'd like to do is make a little change and send it to the street department. We will have to get a bigger recorder down there because I'm gonna say only has 8 cameras and we're gonna exceed that. I'll cover the extra cost, so I don't think you guys really need to pay for that. But we'll get a 16-channel recorder down there and send basically everything down there.
Okay.
except for the couple cameras we put up here, they'll stay here, or wherever
Sure.
ends up being town hall.
So, the system as it's set up now, whatever cameras are up are functioning, working?
Yes,
Okay. Do they,
I've got it. He sent me a thing to be able to go in and manage it. I haven't,
okay.
I haven't.
That-
set
That's
it-
all I
I
wanted
haven't
to
set it
know
up on
is-
the computer, but
Is
yeah.
if that part of it was built out,
Yeah.
you know, access to.
Yeah,
your
so,
reports.
and you will have access, or whoever the council deems should have access, will get access to.
Okay.
Basically the way it is, it's everything's local, access is through the cloud, so, whoever needs access, they can install an app and sign up, and then I will share whatever's appropriate with that person.
Fair enough.
So if you want to have Jennifer to be able to see the town hall cameras, I can share those particular cameras with her. If you want Andy to see everything, I can give him those cameras. Or, somebody from the sheriff's department that's local, you know, if they'll be able to see the cameras if they need to, we can give access to them as well.
Okay.
Everything records locally, it's just when we do the remote access, that happens over the internet.
So I don't remember what the particulars of the system were, but I'm assuming video falls off after a certain amount of time.
Right, we're shooting for 21 days.
Okay.
That's
So that
the
should
goal.
be adequate for if there was an incident, we
Sure.
got enough time to
Right,
go back and find it.
it might be, so, you know, we buy hard drives, they're 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 terabytes, it might be 19, it might be 23, it might be 24.
Sure.
But that kind of 21-day range is what we're shooting for.
Okay.
If we find that as we add more stuff to it, we're kind of, you know, getting way under that, then we'll put bigger hard drives and whatever recorder needs them.
Perfect. I like it. Well, I'm glad we're finally getting some coverage over there. It's something we've been talking about for forever.
More
I wish we would have had it when there was that vandalism 5 years ago. you know, but
Wasn't there something that happened in the gazebo recently?
Yes.
We don't have any coverage of that.
There will be, but it's not.
There wasn't.
There's no will
Okay.
be.
But anyway, I'm glad that we're getting it done. Appreciate everything you're doing with it.
Yep.
Any questions regarding cameras?
Great, thank you, I appreciate
Thank
the
you.
opportunity to chat, and, if you have a little bit of free time tonight, we can get your camera stuff set up if you want.
Okay.
Have to head out immediately.
All right.
I forgot one thing before but
Thank
Steve
you,
Rock
Scott.
just about has our rate study for the water utility done. And he's gonna call you for some questions tomorrow, Jennifer. He will have copies out by the end of the week. He will be at that first meeting in December to go over the whole thing with you guys.
All right.
I went over a list of questions with him late this afternoon. Pass it on to him.
All right. So Jennifer, you don't have anything else?
I do not.
All right, a few items. First, on the foreclosure, we had or currently do have a sheriff sale set for January, but we ran into an issue in which the sheriff can't actually proceed with that because of some outstanding taxes on the property. But by statute, we can actually go ahead and get in touch with the county commissioners, and the county can just have it transferred to us. So we're going to go ahead and move forward with that and have the commissioners see if they'll do that for us.
Just transfer ownership of the property?
Correct.
So they would basically take ownership of it because of the tax liens and they give it to us?
So
Is that what's happening?
in effect, yeah. It would ultimately get to us. I'm not sure if it would technically go to them or not, but it's essentially kind of just like a waiver of it.
Because they know they're never gonna get their money. or
Yeah,
they're
presumably.
gonna walk away from it or whatever. Okay.
All right, second issue, the library building. It's been brought to our attention that the water utility could use some office space, and that library would be a uniquely suitable space for that. We believe that we may be able to actually take possession of that through the eminent domain process. So we're going to look into that further and get a report prepared for next meeting, an actual proposal to move forward with that.
That would be
Wow.
great to look into. I'm open to any options we can here. We're waiting on a second appraisal still. The one that we got was closer to what we expected it to be, a little less than I thought, but it's definitely nowhere near what they're
asking.
And
asking.
how does that work? Can we bid more than what our appraisal is?
No, we can only bid the average of 2 appraisals is the maximum amount that we can pay by state statute.
And that's why we're getting 2 appraisals.
No kidding.
So eminent domain, I know nobody can take adverse possession of town property. That doesn't extend to all government property?
So,
Eminent domain would be adverse possession of eminent domain would be.
yeah, there are two different concepts. Utilities do have some broader eminent domain power.
Gotcha.
So it's a different concept. Here we have a government entity taking property is a little unique here, that it would actually be another government sub-entity that it would be taken from, but we do think a utility can do that.
Can we do it? Can we do it to the library?
We think so. We're gonna look into it further and get a full report on what we need to do there. But essentially, you file a complaint against the property, they respond, and typically move forward with an appraisal process. And if they disagree with the appraisal process, then it goes to judicial determination, whichever can present evidence, and the court will decide what the fair market value is.
And how does that work with their bond?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Wow.
Appreciate you all looking
More
into
than
that.
one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
Let's,
All right. And then we had,
proceed if we can.
yeah, we are looking into that. Should have something for you next week. Next item, we got a few ordinances dealing with traffic. I think I've got 2 with me for review. The first one was they both have to do with weight restricted roadways. One was the alley ordinance, and the other one was I believe it was the rock ordinance.
The weight restricted there should be, the one is, should be unapproved.
So I've got a couple drafts here. You guys can would you like those, Murray?
Get everybody copies.
Awesome, thank you.
These are both the same.
Yeah, two of them. We've got 2 copies of the one. It's a sales roadway. I also believe we're working on a salary ordinance for you guys. I didn't make it in my packet, but we should be able to send that to you. This is like John's work.
Okay, yeah, we were supposed to identify all the positions, I said I'd be in touch with that. Didn't get it done since our last meeting. I'll send all of you guys an email, and we'll try to confirm what we think all the positions are that need to go into that. And then I'll get that over, we'll do that this week. So, the timelines. I'll get that.
Sounds good. All right, and I know there's a couple letters we're working on for you guys. First one's the decline letter. That is ready for review. I'll get Steve copies to review. And then another one, this one's slightly more complex. This is the tryout letter. We've got a draft going, but as you know from the agreements, there's all sorts of different obligations they have. So right now, John has it drafted with all of them in there. And maybe sometime on here, we can go through it and kind of mark out or highlight the ones that they haven't complied with, and then we can sign a copy out.
I don't know how everybody else feels. I thought we at least came to somewhat of an understanding after our last board meeting with some reinforcement
Oh, I told them not to do it.
today or whenever that was. But is there anything that we want to try to pursue them on as far as y'all are concerned? Do we want to still send them something in writing, or?
As long as we get this report done, this inspection report that they were supposed to do in mid-project and they haven't done, and he said, you know, he just got, they weren't gonna do it, and then they followed up and called him back. So they're gonna do that, as long as we get the as-bills, I'm just ready to be done with it, or I'm at with it.
I think, yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting too. I think if push comes to shove and they fail further, we'll wanna pursue that.
Okay.
But I think as it stands right now, I'm hoping we're all on the same page. They're supposed to, complete their, the as-bills. That's the biggest thing they have left to do. Other than assessor effort that they're working on right now. So,
And we have no more change orders.
yeah,
I mean, the rest of our stuff will be direct billing.
To us.
Yeah.
so I think we're pretty
So-
close. We may not need to
Okay, good.
anything.
Hopefully that's the case then. I'll just hold on to this. and
Yeah,
get
and
it
then,
accepted.
yeah, if we need to, we can revisit that. But I appreciate that.
All right, and I've marked.
No kidding, what is it, like 500 in here?
I know.
Like gonna melt our
Are
teeth.
you warm? Are you cold? I should
No,
ask.
you're cold. All of you are cold.
That's
No.
why.
Jennifer said you're cold.
It can't be that, it's not that warm.
Is that locking thermostat that they're putting on here?
They're not.
Alan's bringing it up to
They're
his car, it's
not.
gonna go right here, it's gonna have a
To do
key.
that.
He's gonna keep it in his
She's got
pocket.
an app that when she walks in, it heats up.
We got an axe.
Yeah.
Well, you know that new furnace works.
Yeah.
Ally,
Sounds like a jet plane back here.
Buckle in.
Have some input on the outlets there.
This is the letter regarding the sidewalk that was removed on South Redway.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I measured off 56 feet down there. That's where the west sidewalk, and there's not anymore.
It should be in the book. The footage should have been in the book.
Yeah, the page showed the whole length though.
No, but it should have, there should be something in there with
It
the
said
footage.
it break it down by what's in front of each property.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it had like a total length of 200 and some, because there's
Oh.
portions down there that didn't have any, and some that had it.
It went about from his driveway to Imels,
Yeah, so
basically.
that's what I measured. You can see where it used to be on the other side too, but I know they didn't tear that out.
No.
It's all down.
No, it's in the dirt and
That
stuff.
row- Oh, is it under
Yeah,
the
it's-
row of bushes?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, by that row of bushes.
Yeah, heading south of the drive.
No, south of the drive. Yeah, it's gotten buried. It's
Yeah.
there, but it's fallen.
So anyway, I measured 56 feet.
Yeah, the newer part was basically from the driveway to Imels.
So it was-
I think Trags are putting that in, actually.
Did they?
Mm-hmm. When he lived there.
So. Everybody review that and we'll, send it out if appropriate. I think.
This one here wasn't, there was supposed to be some language in there as far as, the Central Street, no truck traffic, put some type of language in there, it's like no through traffic, so that the owners of the truck drivers on Central can still get to and from their property.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, because that one guy lives there and
Is
he
there-
has to have access.
What do you think is the best way to differentiate for
Property
if
owners that live
somebody's
on there.
making a delivery?
The truck driver that lives in Central has to get to and from his own property in his semi. And we were talking about that, and Alex mentioned something about putting in there something about along the lines of no through traffic.
And then the three ton from.
For my notes. I
3
don't
tons.
have it.
Fine. I got two of them, so
Supposed- when-
you can have
supposed to
one.
be Truck center 26,000
Oh,
pounds.
did you get
Did we
that?
talk
Yeah,
about
I had
that
one in my
non-CDL vehicle?
Draft, and then he gave me another one.
I thought we did. I mean, 3 tons.
That's a good way to do
My
it.
dump
Yeah,
truck,
there's-
my dump truck weighs more than 3 tons. Hell, my pickup truck I own at home weighs more than 3
Yeah,
tons.
there's some big pickup trucks
Yeah.
that are 3 tons.
Who should that be?
That's probably what our other weight restricted thing we already had was.
This probably was for the alley.
Well, some of those alleys, the one over there behind the hardware was 3 ton.
Yeah, so.
That's probably where that came from, the
Yeah.
language out of that ordinance is probably where that language came from.
Okay. So what seems like a good way to try to convey I mean, is it, can we just no through semis? Is that sound appropriate, or?
Probably makes sense, because of course you have someone coming in and out, they're not going through,
Right.
or they're making.
It's
a
only one
delivery.
person at one end. I mean, that's it in a nutshell.
You know, and Alex made some comment, it's like, be like
Well,
having the road closed for construction, that they put up their no through traffic and it lets the residents in and out past the road closed sign. And he mentioned something in, you know, along those lines of putting in here, so that truck driver can get to and from his own property in a semi,
Okay.
instead of having delivery trucks and any semi just going up and down the road.
Okay.
There are people, since we're kind of in a triangle shape,
Mhm.
we're on 96th Street, 19, and then Central,
Yeah.
and people will sometimes turn off at 19 and go up Central
Mhm.
to
So we want,
get to, if they're going that direction, so they don't have to go up around the point,
I
the
see.
triangle, you know what I'm saying?
so we want that guy to be able to come and go from his own property, and then
They
that's
can't-
presumably we want any deliveries to be able to come here too.
That's why, on that weight, no greater than, I think it should be 26,000 GVW.
Which I think I've seen signs like that before.
Yeah, I mean, gross vehicle weight, that's, basically that allows anything under CDL weight. You know? I mean, that would cover like an Amazon truck or any of that.
Normal delivery truck, so.
Yeah, or, I mean,
Packages.
No.
Alright, so no through traffic, then bump that to 26, gross vehicle weight.
Yep.
Alright.
cause that would include payload, that includes the vehicle and the payload.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I didn't think about what the amount of weight was.
Well, we talked, I mean, we
Yeah,
didn't
we
talk
did.
about it with Alex, but I thought we talked about it there at the meeting, keeping it under the CDL.
We can do that.
This letter here, we were giving them until like March 30th, I think it was. Is that what we said?
No, I thought it was
You
like
said
June or July or.
May, I thought it was May.
May,
May.
yeah.
Let me correct that. It says March.
Yeah, I think this is, with my quick scan here, I think this is right, except for we wanna make that like May 30th. I'm pretty sure that's what we had said. I didn't write it down, but I think I remember saying,
The deadline.
yeah, we wanna give them plenty of time to come in around here, so.
Concrete, can't even do it.
Right, that's true too.
Alright, so go ahead and make that adjustment, get it out.
You say that's May 30th, 31st? Where is what you saying?
Yeah, I guess we could make it the 31st. Wanna do that?
May 31st?
So rest of this look alright, we approve sending this, contingent upon those changes.
I'll move we send this letter contingent with the changes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright,
Alright, the change was
just the date.
date.
Yeah, I think everything else is correct in here, so.
And this 94.2 and 3 is in our local ordinances, correct? Which also, is that addressing the ADA state statute that's in that? I don't have my book.
No, I don't think there's anything about the ADA in our,
Okay.
no. patching and restoration of the pavement or other surface shall be performed under the direction and to the satisfaction of the authorized town official and in accordance with rules, regulations, and specifications approved by the town.
Oh, sidewalk, 4 feet wide, 4 inches thick.
Yeah, this part of ADA state statute now, the minimum of 4 foot
Yeah.
wide,
Ours-
to do
ours-
wheelchairs.
That's what ours always been though, I mean, but 4 inches thick. Minimum.
So yeah, they're in violation on a couple, for instance, they removed it and then put it back, and they didn't get a permit to remove it, and it says right here, 9401. Unlawful for any person other than an authorized town official to make any opening in a street, alley, sidewalk, or public way of town, unless a permit to make the opening has been obtained prior to commencement of work.
We don't charge for it, but I do have,
Yeah.
I do have a full,
So
got a
that's-
form
that
for
is
it.
the appropriate ordinance for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there is, so you just said there is no permit fee, but it does say in here we should.
We don't have, there's a place for it, we've never assigned a fee for it, I just haven't filled the form out, cause it falls, there's a,
Given the specifications and requirements of what,
I tell them, it's not on the thing, but I tell them, you know.
yeah.
Cause like, Aggie got one, she replaced it, and then if you ever go by there and look, you know, Nick put the rumble strips
on it.
on the end of it, yeah.
But yeah. Should be good.
Perfect.
Alright, thank you. You got anything else?
That is all I have. And I got a list of action items, so we'll work on those.
Okay, we'll get that list of salary positions over to you, this week. Anything else for him? From the council?
Anything.
Okay. Alright, this would actually end up with you, we're kind of well into, does the council have any old business, we'll say that? Okay, in new business, we've already addressed a couple of the items, the third item on there is this, Jackson Township contract, we just received this today. I don't think anything's changed in it other than the amount, there is an increase, but I'm assuming everybody wants, would want this to be, reviewed, so we do have this, I'm assuming, unless somebody wants the motion to pass it, that will take this to the next meeting, so it's up to you.
What is our current contract? Just, you know,
Yeah, we
32
pay,
and change.
right now, we pay $33,565, so this is a $16.78 increase.
Considering gas as a fuel.
Yeah, diesel's
I'd make a
$5.60
motion,
now.
I'd make a motion to go ahead and approve this.
Got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright, that's done. Any other new business from the council?
I got one thing we got left, well, I didn't print it out, that's when we talk about it though. So,
You guys want to
the
see
pricing of the
that?
modifications to the
Yeah,
street
yeah.
sweeper to make it into a salt truck. That's us bringing the strip truck, no body on it, just, frame, is gonna be $9,800 and some change. I forgot to print it out, but and that is to put hydraulic pump on the engine, all of the lines, a new hydraulic tank, frame mounting our spreader. So there'll be no bed on the truck at all anymore. It'll just be frame mounted. They build
It's back again.
they fabricate steel bracket to directly mount it to the truck frame. And then also spreader controls, the installation of that, I don't wanna mess with the spreader controls that are in the dump truck now, they got short in them. I mean, they're,
So they put new ones in.
yeah, it's for a new control. It's very similar to the same one. It'll have your chain speed, spreader width, blast button. But, that'll be it. The only thing, he didn't give me the pricing on, which I gotta call him back. I'm gonna have all this for the next meeting, but it was, I wanna get a new chain and new bearings and pillow blocks and everything put on. While they got that out and all apart, they're fabricating the new mount for it, you know.
I think, I'm in favor of moving in that direction. I think that's a good use of a vehicle that we just got sitting around. And that dump truck ain't gonna last too much longer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all spread lives on.
Yeah, I mean, we can't get it till like he told me, I have not talked to him, his email he sent me, but they wouldn't even be able to get it in till like the end of December, as it is now. You know, what I really want to try to do is move forward with it, I gotta move the fuel tank on the street sweeper. And I talked to Danny, I'm gonna take it out to the scrap yard, they're just gonna torch it and take the body off with the claw, you know, just junk that thing, it's not worth anything.
Yep.
Them torching it off and taking it off is worth them having it to me. I mean, there can't be $40 worth of steel there, you know. But I wanna take them the truck so that we still have ours going as long as we can and let them get pumps, the crap, as much as they
They're
can.
ready for it, take the other one down.
Take the dump
there,
truck down, have them lift it off,
Yep.
bring the dump truck back,
Yep.
you know. But that's kind of my plan. But, I mean, I can tell you, we would probably, just rebuilding the front end of the dump trucks probably took us somewhere, it's gonna be $3,000, if we're lucky. You know, those kingpins are bad, it's lived its life. I mean, hell, the whole truck, I mean, you can feel when you're driving it, it's leaned up against the door. I mean, you can feel the whole body move on that truck when you go around corners and stuff. I mean, it's there. Johnny knows, there ain't nobody keeps a salt truck for 20 years.
No. And you know, the good thing about that full street sweeper, it was military and it's heavy duty steel made frame and everything else. And
Let's get that.
it's up and it's got,
Yeah, the
And he's-
coating.
I was talking to him, he was gonna put another coat on the frame that, it's got that, they call it carp paint, which is like everything resistant paint that
Yeah.
the military uses.
Yeah.
So it should be,
last
that'll
quite a while.
quite a bit.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I like the idea of no bed. And they said they're doing that a lot now.
So that way you can just spray everything off real easy.
You know, you're not flinging everything back up underneath the bottom of the truck, and
Getting
I mean,
it
you
dirty.
would not believe in the last 2 years how bad that dump truck bed is. I mean, that thing is just falling apart.
The bedliner's holding it together.
The bed liner is holding it together. That is not a joke. I mean, when I pulled that away, you know, I pulled it away, brought it over, we oiled the chain and stuff, got it ready for the season. I mean, there are like 200 pieces of little rust laying on the ground where that truck was sitting. I mean, it's bad. It is so bad. I mean, it's just not, to me, we're spending any more money on.
I think we need to go ahead and move forward with this thing before we end up without a salt truck in the middle of the winter.
Yeah.
When we need it the most. And like I said, they're out and declared over in December to even get it on the schedule.
He said he's gonna get everything over to you in the next week or so.
Well, he sent me an email. I meant to print it out and I forgot. I mean, I'll bring it to the next meeting, but he sent me an email that's got everything.
Pricing and stuff.
Yeah, it was some $9,800 and some change, but it's got everything listed on it that they're gonna do, you know, for the truck. And like I said, the only other thing I wanted to add on was, I wanna get a price for sides, 12-inch extension. If that, see what that is, but it's definitely gonna need a new chain and new bearings on the shafts. I got a bad bearing on the front shaft right now.
Just have them change
They
it out.
gone out after. It must have happened during the first salt spread because I didn't see it until after I cleaned this, between first and second or somewhere in there, because I cleaned the whole thing, greased everything, and oiled it here after that last use. And I mean, when I say the bearings are gone, the bearings are literally out of the bearing. Yeah.
Shaft's running a race.
Uh-huh, yep.
If that, do whatever documents or anything, together, we'll
I'll forward that email to all of you.
see. I don't know what they need as far as timeline goes to get started on it, but.
Well, probably if I let him know, I'm imagine he's gonna order the parts, cause it's, we had to search around quite a bit. It's really weird, the size of the but I figured out it's cause it's a military vehicle. The engine, it's a 7.3 diesel engine, but the engine that's in that truck was not available, like if you went to the dealer. It's bigger than the engine that would've came in that truck, like if you just went to the dealer and ordered that, like for as a dump truck or something. So they had a little bit of problem finding it, but they figured it out. And that truck still has, I probably gonna take longer before we get it, but it still beats fully, you know. That street sweeper's like 1989, is what it is. It's only got like, I don't know, 63,000 miles on it or something, like that. So.
You broke in on a diesel.
No, I know. And it's got, pretty new tires on it too, so tires are in good shape. But I'll forward that email.
Okay. Any other new business?
New guy or nothing?
Your motion to sign claims that are during the meeting.
I will make that motion, sign claims, adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.